You think Sam's Club makes money selling cheap stuff in bulk? The flat of bottled water, the 48-pack of paper towels, the whole rotisserie chicken, the tires, the slab of brisket that somehow costs less per pound than the supermarket down the road. It looks like a giant store winning on raw volume. It isn't. Sam's Club barely makes a profit on the things it sells you. The real business is a card in your wallet, and the fee on that card is almost as big as the entire profit of the warehouse. Here's how it looks from the outside. Sam's Club is the warehouse arm of Walmart, the biggest retailer on earth, and it is enormous in its own right. In the fiscal year that ended in January 2025, Sam's Club sold about $90 billion of merchandise in the United States. That is roughly 13% of everything Walmart sells. $90 billion of groceries, fuel, electronics, and bulk pallets, moving through 600 warehouses across 44 states and Puerto Rico. So the obvious story writes itself. Buy huge quantities, mark them up a little, sell to millions of members and pocket the difference. Volume retail. The Walmart playbook, in even bigger boxes, and the volume is real. Sam's Club runs warehouses the size of airplane hangars, each one stocked with only a few thousand product types, where a normal supermarket carries tens of thousands. Fewer items means far more of each one. More of each one means it buys mustard or televisions by the truckload, which gives it crushing leverage over suppliers. It is the second biggest warehouse club in the country, behind only Costco. So by any normal measure of retail, that scale should be a profit machine. A store that big, buying that cheaply, selling that much, ought to keep a fat slice of every sale. That is the intuition. And it is exactly the intuition this company is built to defy. Look at the margin. A normal supermarket marks goods up enough to keep a gross margin in the 20s or 30s. In the year ending January 2025, Sam's Club's profit came to about 11% of sales. That is the slice left after paying for the merchandise itself, and it is razor thin on purpose. Walmart says it plainly in its own annual report. Its filing reports that thin gross margin right there in the numbers. And it states that membership income is a significant component of the segment's operating income. Read that again. The company is telling you, in writing, that the goods are sold close to cost, and that the profit lies somewhere else. So either Sam's Club is the worst-run giant in retail, or the merchandise was never really the point. So where does the money actually come from? The card. In that same year, the Sam's Club segment reported operating income of about $2.4 billion. That is the profit from running the entire warehouse business, all $90 billion of it. Now put the membership fee next to it. In that same year, Sam's Club collected about $2.3 billion in what Walmart calls membership and other income. Sit with those two numbers for a second. The membership line is almost the same size as the entire operating profit of the segment it sits inside. About 97 cents of fee income for every dollar of profit the warehouse business makes. Strip the fees out, and what is left from selling $90 billion of merchandise is barely enough to keep the lights on. The store breaks roughly even. The card is the profit, and notice what is doing the work. When Walmart explains why that line grew, it doesn't point to fatter markups or a hot season. It says the increase came primarily from growth in membership. The profit isn't moving because the company got better at selling brisket. It's moving because more people are paying to walk in the door, and a membership fee is almost pure profit. Think about what it actually costs Sam's Club to collect one. When you renew your card, the company doesn't have to manufacture anything, ship anything, or stock a single shelf. The warehouse was already built. The lights were already on. The cost of producing one more renewal is close to zero. So that fee revenue drops almost straight down to the bottom line. Compare that to merchandise. Every dollar of stuff Sam's Club sells carries the cost of buying it, trucking it, storing it, and staffing the floor. The merchandise, all $90 billion of it, is run close to break even on purpose. The fee is run at near total profit on purpose. The store is the bait. The card is the business. And the trend makes the point even sharper. Go back a couple of years and the same pattern holds, only tighter. In the year ending January 2023, the Sam's Club segment earned just under $2 billion in operating income and pulled in about $1 billion in membership and other income. The fee that year was almost the entire profit. A year later, it was about $2.1 billion in fees against just under $2.2 billion in operating income. And here is the tell. In the most recent year, membership income grew by more than 13%. That is the line that is actually compounding. Not the margin on the brisket, the fee at the door. So why does this work, and why doesn't every retailer just copy it? Because the two halves feed each other in a loop that's almost impossible to fake. Sam's Club keeps its markup thin, which keeps prices genuinely low. Low prices make the membership feel obviously worth it. A membership that feels worth it gets renewed. And renewal is the entire machine, because each renewal is that near pure profit fee landing again, before the member has bought a single thing. The fee arrives on a schedule, agreed a year in advance, whether or not the member shops much. That is what makes it so valuable. Merchandise profit swings with the weather, with fuel prices, with whether shoppers feel nervous about their jobs. Fee revenue does not swing, it is steady, recurring, and locked in. That recurring fee completely changes how the company is allowed to behave. It doesn't need each gallon of milk or each television to turn a profit, because the profit is already secured by the fee at the door. So it can price aggressively, squeeze suppliers harder, and keep low prices low, all to protect the one number that actually matters, the renewal. The cheap merchandise isn't charity, and it isn't a loss the company grudgingly tolerates. Functionally, it works like marketing spend. It keeps the real product, the membership, selling itself. You can watch the same logic play out in the parking lot. Sam's Club runs fuel stations at many of its clubs, and the gas is usually priced to be among the cheapest in town, and only members can buy it. The fuel barely needs to make money on its own. Its job is to pull you onto the lot, because a member who fills up is a member who walks inside, and a member who keeps coming back is a member who renews. And fuel is the perfect renewal driver, because it isn't a once-a-month splurge. It's a chore you repeat every single week. Each fill-up is one more reason to keep the card alive, one more small habit that justifies the fee when your renewal notice arrives. The cheap fuel isn't a side business at all. It's a magnet bolted to the door where the money is. But here is where Sam's Club does something its older rival doesn't. It turns the card into data. Walk into a Sam's Club today and you can skip the checkout line entirely. You scan each item with the app as you drop it in the cart, you pay inside the app, and you walk out through an arch of cameras that uses computer vision to confirm what's in your trolley. They call the scanning tool Scan and Go, and the camera exit, launched in the most recent fiscal year, they call just Go. By the company's own account, roughly 1 in 3 members already use Scan and Go regularly, and the company is steadily removing traditional checkout lanes to push everyone toward it. Now think about what that actually does. A normal store knows what was sold. Sam's Club knows who bought it. Every Scan and Go trip ties a basket of items to a specific membership account, in real time, with the phone right there in your hand. That turns the warehouse into something a normal supermarket can only dream of. It knows what each member buys, how often they come, when they're due to run low, and exactly when their renewal is coming up. Sam's Club has said its more digitally engaged members shop more often, buy across more categories, and renew at higher rates than members who only shop the physical club. So the technology isn't really about saving you 90 seconds at the till. It's about protecting the renewal. The more the app knows about you, the easier it is to keep you paying the fee, and the easier it is to nudge you toward the things that make you renew again. That data also quietly feeds the rest of the machine. When the company can see account by account what tens of millions of members actually buy, it knows precisely which products to stock deep and which to drop. That is part of how a warehouse can carry only a few thousand items and still feel like it has exactly what you came for. It is also how Sam's Club builds its own house brand, Members Mark, which spans groceries, household goods, and more, often at a lower price than the name brands beside it. A strong house brand makes the membership feel even more worth keeping, because you literally cannot buy those products anywhere else. Think about what that does to the renewal decision. If your favorite coffee, your paper towels, your detergent are all Members Mark, then letting the card lapse cuts you off from the specific products you've built your kitchen around. The house brand quietly raises the price of leaving, without ever raising the price of the membership. And it locks in margin too, because Sam's Club controls that product end to end. Every one of those threads, the data, the private label, the cheap fuel, pulls in the same direction. They all exist to protect the renewal. And then there's the upgrade, a second loop stacked on top of the first. The basic club membership and the Premium Plus membership sit side by side. Plus costs more and it pays you back 2% of what you spend, as something the company calls Sam's Cash up to an annual cap. It sounds generous, but to earn that reward back, you have to spend thousands of dollars a year at Sam's Club, and that is exactly the behavior the company wants. The reward is a leash. It turns a yearly fee into a habit, because you don't quit a club you feel like you're actively winning at. You can also bolt on extra cards for other people, at about $45 each, so a single household account quietly becomes several fees instead of one, and the fee itself can quietly climb. In 2026, Sam's Club raised its basic membership from $50 to $60, and its Plus tier from $110 to $120. It was the first increase in 4 years, since 2022. And it softened the blow in the cleverest possible way. It raised the cap on Plus Cash back rewards from $500 a year to $750, so the upgrade looked more attractive at exactly the moment the price went up. Now do the math. Multiply even a $10 bump across tens of millions of members, and you've added hundreds of millions of dollars of near, pure profit, without selling one extra cart of groceries. Because remember, a renewal costs Sam's Club almost nothing to produce. That is the quiet power of a fee business. You can raise the price of the thing that's almost all profit, and dress it up as a better deal. So here's what Sam's Club really is. Not a store that happens to charge a fee, but a membership club that happens to run a store, where the store mostly exists to keep you renewing the card, and where the app exists to make sure they know exactly when and how to keep you. And once you can see that shape, you start spotting it everywhere. The warehouse club isn't an oddity. It is the cleanest version of a pattern hiding across the whole economy. The product on display is rarely where the real money lives. The gym earns on the members who stop showing up. The streaming service earns on the subscription you forgot to cancel. The airline can make more selling miles to a bank than seats to a flyer. The thing they hand you at the counter is the bait. The money sits somewhere quieter, somewhere recurring, somewhere you already agreed to pay for. Next time, we follow the maze, the furniture giant that gets you to do the shipping, the assembly, and somehow thank them for the privilege. That's IKEA. And the money is not in the furniture.